Good morning and good night. Thanks again for downloading the Body Snatchers podcast. And when you listen, stream, or download straight to your device, Castbox is your best option. Castbox is a free platform on your computer or mobile device that promotes podcasts just like ours to millions of listeners worldwide. Go to the App Store or Google Play and look for the orange symbol. If you're listening on your computer, go to castbox.fm and look for our show. Remember, if you like what you hear today, don't forget to subscribe and comment. So let's get started with Steve, Tino, Gia, and John with the news. Enjoy the show.
All right, good morning and good night. Welcome to the Body Snatchers podcast, your 24/7 hotspot for everything you care about. You can find us on all devices where podcasts are available, or you can listen to us directly at bodysnatcherspodcast.com. And there you can find all the latest episodes, and if you click the shop tab, you'll find hoodies, shirts, tank tops, and more. Plenty in stock, a lot of colors, so check us out. You gotta grab something cool. Stop fucking around. Tino, wake up.
I am woke spiritually.
You said woke, not that you're awake. I don't wanna get anything political.
It's too late for all that.
Yeah. Well, how about an apology real quick for that Brawlhalla thing?
What are you mad about?
That you said it was a lame game, and then you played it. A free game, mind you, and then in the first half an hour, boom, you dropped $20.
First off, that wasn't the first half hour. It was like a good 2 hours into it, okay?
I didn't have my watch on me. It felt like a half an hour.
Secondly, I was drunk and woke up the next day 50-50 with that decision. Like, I don't want to say I regretted it, but I wasn't really ecstatic about it. But like, okay, you got to look at it from my perspective, though. It's like, okay, if I'm going to be playing this game with my friends and it's decent, it's a bootleg Smash Bros. On PlayStation, fine. But if they're only going to give you like 4 or 5 characters that are randomly different like every single day, like I can't deal with that. I need variety and I need consistency. So I was going to buy just 1 or 2 characters that look dope, but like they were selling each character for like $6 to $7 roughly per character, or buy all 20 for, buy all whatever the number is. I think it's actually higher than 20 for $20. So I'm like, well, fuck it. I'll just spend the $20. I'm not, 3 characters would have been like at least $18. Like, so I guess it's a steal. I mean, they got me, but
It's not bad. And I'm the complete opposite. I need 1 character, and then I'm gonna be a motherfucker with them. That one dude, Val is his name. The dude with the sword. You played him once, I believe.
I don't know, dude. I disrespect that game. I'm not gonna take the time to get to know anybody on there. I didn't like the vast amount of limitations that it presented me with. It made me feel some type of way. So
the hitbox is a little tight. You know what I'm saying? Like if somebody's doing something else, you'll go right through them.
Well, I mean, overall, I felt that it was pretty balanced. I don't have any major complaints. I'm not super awesome at that game, nor do I intend on spending the time to master it. But I think it'll be something to kind of get loosen up the cobwebs and just get familiar with that type of game. It's been so long since I've played one. So when Smash Brothers comes out for the Switch, I'll be prepared.
In 2 years.
No, I think it's going to be sooner than that,
You think they're just laying low?
I mean, it's going to be like their crown jewel, so they probably just want to get it right, And I don't think that they want to release the exact same thing they always have. They're probably, looking to add some different types of content. This is the first time in a long time where they've had, servers that aren't like shitty, like they're actually, going to have a lot of money invested into them. So they probably want to come up with, new different angles for people to play. Different types, instead of it just being like a free-for-all type of thing, they're probably going to add like just new shit that we can't even think of because we've never had it. So, I mean, I hope that they do take their time with it. So when it does launch, it's not going to be like the same shit with a new character roster. I think it's going to be worth the while.
But I will say one last thing for Brawlhalla, ranked tag. I really like that feature. I think it's really fun that you can go with somebody and as a group, you guys can rank up if if you're playing with each other, or you can just do it by yourself and have ranked. I like that feature. I don't think Smash Brothers had that.
No, not the last Smash Brothers that I played, which I think was on the original Wii, I don't think that they had that. So no.
What was that? Brawl or Melee?
Wasn't that on the Wii U? I really don't remember. It's been such a long time since I played. That's why I'm excited to finally be getting a Switch soon.
Yeah, 2 homos that are talking right now got a Switch, like all within 2 days. So
yeah, dude, my shit arrives Tuesday. Monkey see, monkey do, man. All it took was a little peer pressure.
That is true. I love peer pressure.
Who doesn't?
But I do have buyer's remorse, though.
Yeah, I do too.
I'm nervous. I feel like shit.
I just got the email that was like, yeah, you're getting it Tuesday, buddy. So get excited. I'm like, oh my God.
Because like I told you, there's only 4 good games that's on the Switch right now, and that's devastating. Well, there's 3 for you because you don't want to play Splatoon because you're
no, I don't. It looks dumb.
Simple.
I mean, it's really popular, but it's not appealing to me like in any way. So it's like I don't want to knock it for what it is, but it's just not for me.
Well, that's what you said about Brawlhalla, so just let me take care of you and quit being difficult.
I'm telling you, I'm not going to put the kind of time into that game that you are going to. Like, I'm going to casually play it so that you're not completely alone.
That's true. A lot of people I know don't have the Switch, which is why I stick with PS4. I got a lot of people on PC, but not as much as I got on PS4.
Oh, PS4 is always going to be, I should say PlayStation rather, has always just been like my go-to for the last, I guess like 20 years now almost. So, I mean, that's not going anywhere. I mean, that just is what it is for me. It's a staple in the community. I take it seriously. I mean, if Nintendo stepped up their game like hardware-wise and wanted to be like a serious competitor, like I'd probably look for it. But that's not their thing. You know, they're more so for like, you know, fun. They aim towards kids. They aim towards nostalgia. And they're slowly switching up the game where adding more mature games and stuff like that. So it's like, you know, they're going somewhere with it and they're doing good things, making big moves. They obviously make a lot of fucking money. So, you know, we just wait and see. Yeah,
I'm about to pull the trigger on a Pro because my son put like $1.75 worth of change in mine and the disc tray's all like jacked up. It sounds like a grinder.
Well, I mean, if you're going to get the Pro, get it. If not, I think that the normal PlayStation is on like a ridiculous sale right now. But more importantly, what are you doing with the old one? Are you just going to give it to John?
I'm going to give it to John. And then you or Gia can share play with them. Then we'd all have the games.
Yeah, he's the last person I'm share playing with. That's like a lose-lose situation for me. He's not going to buy anything. I'm not going to get anything out of that. Like,
John, did you play it? No. It was free. Okay.
Did you buy anything, John? No. No, actually, what's that fucking game he's always telling us about?
Battle something? It's always a battle something. It's a first-person shooter.
Dude, any game that has battle in it just probably isn't for me. It just doesn't sound fun. You're trying too hard to sell me.
One day, I want you to put together, like, your own idea of a first-person shooter that you would actually play.
I'm not going to. That shit's just lame to me. Like, John, what are you doing? Got that new Battlefield 9? Yeah, what do? We got guns. And then what? You shoot them. But there's more than that. I don't care. You lost me. At least he's not a spokesperson for those companies.
Not yet, anyways.
Jesus.
All right. Well, of course, we're going to talk about the new Avengers trailer, Infinity Wars.
That shit looks dope.
It does look dope. And one of the first things I was happy to see, just because we didn't see it in the whole Homecoming movie, is Spider Sense.
Yeah, you noticed that when the fucking hairs on his arm stood up?
Yeah, and they did it good. Like, you know, I only know the Spider Sense from the cartoons where everything turns like into a disco, and he knows that, you know, Venom's chucking a car at his ass or something.
Not Venom. Spider Sense can't be picked up by Venom.
Really?
Yeah, that's what makes Venom such a deadly enemy. Is because after Peter had the symbiote costume on or whatever, like it adapted a lot of his abilities, so he can't read Venom, or I don't think he can read any of the symbiote users' movements. So like they can kind of sneak up on his ass whenever the fuck they want, and he can't do shit about it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's kind of trash, but at the same time, so is Spider Sense. Like not that it's a bad power, but it becomes OP if I remember correctly. Like in the comics, like it developed to the point where like he pretty much might as well have been like a fucking psychic user and was just like, oh, things are gonna happen.
Well, it's like a real spider, right? It attracts vibrations and lets them know that something's not right.
I think that's how it was like originally designed. I mean, I guess that's kind of the same idea. You know, he picks up on bad vibes, but yeah, I mean, it develops to the point where it's pretty fucking OP, but like it's a dope power to have. But then again, it's Spider-Man, so it's like I can't get mad that he's got it. Like
he picks up bad vibes. You bring him to a bar. He tells you, "Don't go home with this girl." Why? Just trust me.
That would be kind of cool.
Getting a really bad feeling from her.
Well, you want to be Jean Grey at that point. But yeah, I mean, getting back to the trailer though, it was really, really good. It was even better than what I expected it to be because everybody was like, "Oh, the Marvel trailer's coming out tomorrow," and then the next day it came out, and I mean, there were some jaw-dropping scenes. I mean, lots of questions. They finally gave us a shot, like action shot of Thanos. Which the whole internet is in an uproar about right now. Which
those memes are awesome.
The memes are fucking hilarious. It's killing me. But I don't think it looks bad at all. Like he obviously has a slightly lighter skin tone. I don't know if it's supposed to be because he's in the light or what their executive decision for that was. I mean, it had to be something. It had to be with cost or something.
Jesus, your girl Gia, the Thanos of body snatchers, is going in every post just fucking raising hell.
So mad because he's not. Shut up. Shut that shit up. Yeah, Gia was very upset about it though. I have no idea why. She took it like personal. But,
what's your favorite meme of him?
I like the one where somebody did like a Rolex one where they put him in like a fancy suit and then put like a Rolex like on his wrist and gave him like an infinity gauntlet.
I watched it. Look nice.
And then my other favorite one is somebody like changed the lighting and put the Saiyan battle armor on him and put they like penciled in like a mustache or whatever and made him look like Nappa. They gave him a dragon raider.
That one looked really good.
That shit was funny as hell. So
my favorite one is the Happy Gilmore one.
Oh, that was good. That was a really good one.
I believe that Infinity Stone belongs to Mr. Gilmore.
You know what I should do? I just thought about it. I should make one where I should make him look like Carl from Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
Oh, that's amazing. That's pretty good. You got to do that before someone else does.
Yeah, right? People are always fucking trying to beat me to shit.
That's
Did
true.
you see, because me and Steven make a ridiculous amount of memes, so we're sorry if they offend anybody if you follow us on Instagram or Facebook or what's that thing we don't use much? Twitter,
yeah, it's trash.
But I made one, I think today, with the anime traps or whatever, with Gohan.
Traps are huge right now.
Gohan looking through a microscope at a photo, like trying to see if that picture of Bulma was like a dude or a chick.
Yeah, we're not talking about the kind of traps that you catch mice or even bears in. We're talking about the kind of traps where dudes dress up like girls and then you're like, oh, it's a pretty girl. I just might fall in love with her. And then it turns out it's a dude. It's a trap.
I don't know why that's so popular today. I don't know who hurt somebody, but I don't know. It's funny.
Who made you like
but
this?
getting off subject again, back to that trailer. My favorite part of it that like I fucking knew was going to happen. Let me be real clear real quick. I said the shit was going to happen the second they decided to rewrite Vision's storyline and transform Jarvis and turn him into Vision. And then they had that fucking stone sitting in the middle of his goddamn skull. I was like, all right, man, they're gonna kill his ass. They're gonna kill him. They're gonna take that shit.
What do you think he's those?
I think he's gonna be killed. I mean, maybe they'll bring him back or something, but they definitely showed him in the trailer laying down with somebody on top of him with like a fucking giant staff ripping it out of his skull. So I think that might mean death.
Can he survive without it?
Well, I don't know how he's supposed to be in this Marvel universe. Like, he didn't have a fucking Infinity Stone in his head in the comic. So, ooh. I mean, it's new for everybody. We'll find out. But from the impression that I've got from the, was it Age of Ultron where they did it, I'm pretty sure it's like detrimental for life. Like, he needs
I don't even like it.
I want him to kill him. Fuck Vision. He's OP anyways.
He's too strong.
Yeah, he's too strong. Fuck him. They didn't show Hulk fighting anybody, but Hulk gets folded pretty easily in the comics by Thanos, so I really want to see like him get folded.
Well, did you people are talking about, so you see Bruce Banner next to the what looks like the Hulkbuster's hand, and in the trailer you see the actual Hulkbuster leaping into battle, but it's not like all finessed and cool like Stark would do. It's all kind of sloppy like the Hulk would do. So people are saying that the Hulkbuster is the Hulk's inside there.
I mean, it could be. That's one thing people are saying. It could be a battle damaged suit. There's a lot of ways that they could do it. I don't think they're gonna do the Hulk inside of it though.
I don't know why they would need that.
There's no reason to,
unless Thanos is that OP, which I know zero about him.
Well, yeah, but like it's not gonna, unless it was armor that was even bigger to enhance the Hulk's strength, which would make absolutely no sense because his strength has virtually no limits depending on how angry he gets. Probably not in this universe, but you feel me.
Yeah.
I just don't see him doing that. No, like people are reaching.
Speaking of reaching, how about that right hook that Stark took?
Jesus,
fucking knocks part of his mask off.
I turned that shit into a GIF immediately. Where he's walking up to or he's not even walking up to him. Thanos walks up to him and he's just like looking like all terrified, and he cocks back and just wrecks shop like
that is a big right hand.
Hits the ground and bounces. So it's sad for me, like seeing it all happen, because like now it's like it's really going to be coming to an end, not with this movie, but with the one afterwards. Like at least all the actors, most of them that we know and have fell in love with, for the last 10 plus years. Robert Downey Jr. has only got so many movies left, and actually he's the only one I care about. Really.
Well, he has to be getting back into drugs soon. I mean, that shit sticks with you.
Wow.
For a relapse.
I'm a huge Robert Downey Jr. fan, and I'm going to need you to play hide and go fuck yourself, Steven.
You saw the new spider suit that was at the end of Homecoming where he's like, nah, I don't want it. Then all of a sudden we see it in the trailer.
That's the Iron Spider suit.
That's what they say, but doesn't that have like shit come out the back?
Well, the legs that are on there are retractable.
Oh, so like he only needs them when he's jerking off and he needs to dip his chip and get a drink at the same time.
Is that how you do?
That's how I would do it, but I'm interested to see how they would make it relevant.
Seems like you need training. And speaking of relevance, I want to know how deep they're going to dig in order to make characters like Black Widow relevant. Because like the whole idea of the Avengers is so that they can fight the battle that normal people can't, or whatever. And it's like, I just don't see her being super relevant. Like if she does some super sneaky spy stuff where she breaks into like some main mothership computer from Thanos and, somehow sneaks past the guards and disables some giant doomsday machine, fine. But that's the only way that she could possibly be relevant.
You don't think she can go out in a war and what are they called? Outriders? Beat them up?
You know what it's going to be like? It's going to be like, I can't remember if it was, I think it was the Avengers 1 movie where I think that was the movie where they introduced Happy for the first time, and him and Black Widow like break into some sort of building or whatever, and there's a bunch of bad guys, and he's like, all right, I got one, and like he looks over, and like in the time that it took him to beat like one guy, like, using boxing methods, she took down like 6 or 10 dudes or some shit. Like the role's going to be reversed. Like out of this whole battle, like she's going to take like 3 to 5 dudes down out of like.
Did they ever mention that bitch was engineered?
No, that in this universe she's not. That's strictly in the comics.
She just studied really hard.
She doesn't have that they've said anyways in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. She doesn't have a strand of the super soldier serum or whatever, because she's supposed to have like a shitty watered down version that's like okay. I mean, honestly, even the regular version isn't that great. Fucking Cap is. I mean, I love Cap, like symbolism and stuff, but like realistically on paper, he's not that strong. He has the strength of 6 grown men compared to Spider-Man, who fucking is a 20-ton contender on a good day. So it's like,
yeah, that's not that strong. I got the strength of 2.
And Spider-Man's going to get his shit pushed in. I don't think they're going to kill him though. Not in this one. I think they're going to kill Vision, and I think they're either going to kill Cap or tease at the idea.
Well, it looked like one of the Outriders were they were going in Vision's forehead because they're spy and assassins, and from what I read, the only way they can get information is by digging into your forehead, but you're dead after that. So I don't know how that would work. If anyone has to die, I want it to be Vision.
It could be a lot of people, and I'd honestly be okay with it.
Top 2.
I just hope they don't make it like a big fucking comedy.
No, I don't think they can do that.
Pull a Thor on us. Yeah, they could. Who wants to laugh? Everybody laugh.
Well, it looks like it's a big like action movie because you got like some of them in Wakanda, some of them in New York, and then you got the ones in space. I don't know where they're gonna go to. Where you got Thor and Guardians of the Galaxy with Teenage Groot.
Oh God, I just want an animated movie where Squirrel Girl beats Thanos.
Half the people don't even know who Squirrel Girl is, including me. Was she bit by a radioactive squirrel?
Well, I'll save it for a day where it's you, me, and Gia, because Gia's actually a really big fan of Squirrel Girl. She's pretty much a gag character, but she has defeated Thanos. Like they wrote it. It's an official canon comic to my knowledge. So
all right, well, I'll ask Gia about it.
I'm sure she'd love to tell you.
She'll tell me. I probably won't listen. It's a curse. All right, moving on. Join the conversation at facebook.com/Body Snatchers Podcast, Twitter at Body Snatchers PC, Instagram Body Snatchers Podcast. We're all there, so swing by and hang. All right, let's move on to The Punisher. It's available right now, 13 episodes. Takes place right after Daredevil Season 2. Now, let's just talk about this first episode really quick, where it just goes in strong. It goes into where you would expect a Daredevil show to be, to where he's just hunting down motherfuckers, running them down, firing guns, and like with that mean look on his face, he's just taking out motherfuckers one by one. And
but they made him kind of quiet and creepy.
And then for 3 episodes at a time, they just, it's not the Punisher, it's a Frank Castle show. You know what I'm saying? It's like it was more of a drama than it was action. You agree?
I'm going to disagree. I feel like you said that on purpose just to make me mad.
Well, parts of it was really slow. I'm not saying I didn't enjoy it, but it wasn't an action flick.
I mean, compared to the first half compared to the second half, there's definitely a lot more action in the second half, but that's not to say that there isn't some fucking insanely like gory scenes in the first half.
Definitely.
It's just they kind of ease you into it. They're just like, this is what killing looks like. This is what killing looks like when the Punisher does it. This is what killing looks like when the Punisher does it and he's mad. Like, so it definitely escalates, and the last like 2 episodes especially are fucking brutal. I won't say specifically who gets murdered, but man,
that was some of the coolest shit I've ever seen.
Man, even I was kind of like, oh, okay, all right, let's. I mean, it's like I can't look away, but I'm cringing a little bit.
I was showing people at work. I'm like, hey, watch this scene. This is the Punisher. They're like, oh yeah, I like the Punisher. And they look at it, and like just midway, it just gets too graphic.
But I say let's jump in and just kind of start running through and talk about some of our favorite scenes, like just throughout it. Not necessarily action scenes, but it's pretty good all over. I mean, what were some scenes that stood out to you, Steven? Or we can bounce ideas back and forth.
Well, not just scenes. I me personally, depression and bipolar. Since I don't got it, and I don't know about you. I can't really identify with these problems. But the way they did PTSD with Castle, it kind of made sense to where like what he's done, and that scene where they had that flashback, it occupies him. And it puts him into that mood where he's making these kind of decisions to where he wants to be isolated and he's so like fucked up.
Well, I mean, as far as like being kind of like an introvert and just wanting to be left the fuck alone because you're just done with people, like I can relate to that. So from a watcher's standpoint, I enjoyed that part about his character. But specifically, if we're referring to PTSD, the Lewis character is the one that like I think they really got into detail on an example of a situation where PTSD can go very bad.
That's the one thing I hated about this show. You did not need a Lewis Wilson. It was, for one, every time he showed up on my screen, I didn't care. And not only that, the way his character wrapped up, it was fucking bullshit.
I mean, I guess so, but I'm gonna disagree. I mean, I think that he was necessary, like to push the series where it needed to go. He had a similar background to, Frank and, the other people who were important in that movie or series rather. But, he was just twisted, man. He was fucked up in the head. And, it's just like, it was kind of cool to see him casually or gradually turn, from being somebody who's kind of normal and shaken to being this over the top, like crazy individual. And he, ends up kind of accidentally making his first kill because, when he doesn't get into the what do they call it? Billy Russo had that.
It was a private military.
Anvil.
Yeah.
He was trying to get into Anvil because it was military services, and he just felt like he would fit in there, and he'd be able to kind of just live that lifestyle again. That's where he wanted to be, and he just felt so uncomfortable wrapped up in civilian life. And the black dude that he was seeing for his sessions or whatever, what was his name? Curtis, the black dude. He tips off Billy Russo and tells him like, "Hey man, don't see Lewis. Like, this dude's kind of goofy. You don't want to hire him. Like, I'm telling you, that's not the guy you want watching your back. Like, he's not all there, fam." So, Lewis ends up losing his shit. And then he grabs one of the guys from his meetings, that big fat guy who's like, "I fought in the war 40 years ago," and like
everyone knows one guy like
over
that.
the top shit. Man, but what happens is like, I think they're standing in front of like some government building and they're protesting peacefully, and Lewis starts to get arrested, and he looks to the big old fat dude and he's like, "Hey man, like help me out or whatever," and the fat dude's like, "I'm out of here." And he's like, "What the fuck, man? Like I thought this was for us, like what we're supposed to be doing. This is a protest. I need you." And later he finds out that the fat dude like fucking never served. Everything that he did was fake. He was just stealing false glory and just whatever. And this makes Lewis's crazy ass lose his shit. So he goes back to the fat dude's house, confronts him, and things get heated, and he fucking guts his ass. And from that point, there was no turning back. It just slowly escalates, and he turns into this fucking crazy bomber who wants to become Frank, basically. Like he wants to join him and help him because he feels that what they're doing is the same thing, and it just gets messed up. And not to get too carried away, but in the midst of that, he gets confronted by Curtis, the black dude that was trying to help him initially, when he was having his problems with PTSD, and he'll help him talk through it in just a civilian life. And he confronts him and he tries to stop him, and they get into a physical altercation. And the thing about Curtis is Curtis had served with the Punisher. So fucking he when they were out serving, he lost his leg and had this, now he's got a fucking gimp leg. And when he's fighting Lewis knows that and kicks his leg out from underneath him, like off his body, and picks it up and starts beating him senseless with it. Like, it was like the most fucked up scene. How'd you feel?
Yeah, the last 3 minutes you've been talking had nothing to do with the Punisher. I mean, it was cool. I watched it. I know about Lewis Wilson. He was pretty cool, but he was a filler character. I mean,
yeah, but he's relevant for, I'd say, 80% of the series. He's an important character. Like, I don't understand how you didn't like the storyline.
That's trash because you get no payoff with this dude. Frank didn't fucking do his thing with him. Frank didn't even fucking touch him, barely, for most of it, except that did he even touch him when he was at old dude's house? Peg leg?
Oh, no, he didn't.
So they didn't even make contact. But yet this dude is in like fucking 8 episodes.
But I mean, you weren't saying the same shit when what am I thinking of?
Come at me, let's get it, let's go.
Fucking Power Man. When he fucking was fighting, what was it, Diamondback? Like, he didn't really have like any serious altercations with Diamondback. Diamondback ended up getting off by his cousin. Same shit, exact same shit. Like, if you look at
it is the same shit, but I can't say anything about it because I'm not black.
That's true. Have a seat.
I mean, yeah, I love this, but am I going to put it above Daredevil 2? Absolutely not.
As a series?
As a series. As a season. Let's say season.
I liked, man, they're close. It's neck and neck. Like, I really fell in love with Frank Castle's character, but the only reason that I like Daredevil's more was just because Matt was open to more. He was more vulnerable, like, outside. Like, Frank was like really cold almost the entire series, which does stand with his character, but I just think that makes Matt Murdock to me more interesting. He could be fighting crime, be a hard ass, but he could let his guard down and end up smashing bitches or something. Frank's not smashing bitches. Frank's never smashing anything unless it's like somebody's skull.
Doesn't give a fuck. He loves his wife, but his wife's in hell. So.
Jesus.
Or heaven. Do you think John Bertha was a better Punisher than Thomas Jane?
Easily. He's hands down the best Punisher there's ever been. If they ever make a Punisher movie and they don't ask him to be that, then I'm out.
That's money down the drain. They need to ask him. I mean, I got to get this tattoo covered up, unless they're the same skull. Look it up.
Probably. But what'd you think about Micro?
I don't know.
I mean, do you feel he helped progress the story? I love this character because, I mean, it was the perfect type of character that was so opposite of Frank. Like, it kind of forced Frank into awkward situations where he had to be more humanistic, and I think that helped progress the story.
I did like that storyline where they're living together and they're getting to know each other, and Frank goes from stalking his wife for leverage to actually taking care of him. Like that scene with Frank Castle and Micro's son. Dude, that was an awesome scene. To where they find a knife in his bag, and he's like, "Man, this is a good knife. This is, he says some kind of specific knife to where he had when he served." And then he's like, "Man, I can do anything with this knife. I mean, you could be sitting there on the couch, and I could be sitting here, and you could have a gun pointed right at me, and I'd still rather be me." And he starts taking a knife, and he starts getting aggressive and shit. And then he goes in for the kid, like with the handle backwards, and the kid starts crying and confesses everything, and they start hugging. That was a great scene.
It was. Or the scene where, because Micro abandons his, wife for reasons that you'll find out in this, when you watch it. And, he's able to observe the house and kind of watch his family from afar. He's got cameras and stuff in there. So his wife thinks Micro's dead. Frank's checking up on him. And, there's a scene where, like, her vagina is dry. She is broken. You know what I mean? She needs some pee-pee in her life like yesterday. And, here comes Frank all, burly armed, fixing things around the house and,
good looking cat
checking up, right?
Good looking cat.
And, what happens? Vagina goes from dry to, just a waterfall. Like, there's all sorts of stuff going on down there. And she goes in for the kill. And by kill, I mean, Frank's lips, they end up kissing on camera. And, Frank's not about that life. So he pulls away. It's a really awkward scene and they walk off. But Micro sees this. So as Frank's leaving, let's assume it takes like a half hour to an hour.
Well, he sees it because he has cameras all over his
I
house.
already
They're
said
hidden.
that, Steven. Thanks.
I don't think you said
I led with that. Next time, pay attention. Idiot. So Micro obviously sees this. Frank's walking, back to the house, however the fuck he gets there, to the location where him and Micro are at. And Micro's just been drinking his soul away because he's so hurt and he's so jealous that why would Frank do that, And Frank walks in and he's like, so you saw that, huh? And, we find out, or Frank finds out, okay, Micro's fucking shit-faced. And he starts saying like the most goofy shit that I did not expect him to say. Like Frank leans down against the wall. He's kind of like, hey, I'm sorry, man. It doesn't mean anything. And Micro's like, let me tell you something, buddy. I am so well endowed, you wouldn't believe it. My dick is huge. And I'm just like, wait, what? What did he just say? Like I had to rewind it. I'm like, no, he didn't just say that. And he's like, yeah, my dick is so huge. He's like, that's why my wife loves me. She's going to be kind of difficult for you to take from me, just so you know. And then proceeds to whip his dick out and tries to slap Frank with it. I'm like, oh God. Man, I don't know. That shit had me weak though. I was not expecting that at all.
And then he hit him with a dame carry punch. You know what that is?
Well, tell me, Steven. Why don't you break it down?
A dame carry punch is when a girl gets out of hand so bad to where just to resolve it really quick, you got to give them a jab, a quick jab. And before they go down, you pick them up, put them over your shoulder, put them to bed.
Now, just so anybody knows listening, when you do this, you always want to punch them behind the head because it temporarily knocks out eyesight for them. And also, if they have a lot of hair, if there's any bruising, it's harder to find.
Yeah, that's a good tip. That is a good tip.
I've never done it, but let's just say I was going to.
Of course not. That's
where the jab is going. So that's what you want to do. But carry on.
All right, so I want to talk about my favorite scene. And you're pretty easy with the spoilers, but I think everyone's watched it by now. What are we doing? Everyone's watched it by now. So I want to talk.
Tell him, pussy.
I want to talk about that fucking scene in episode 12 where Agent Orange is beating Castle half to death, which is that's the best scene in the whole series. You agree?
Mm.
All right. So I mean, he's bloodied and cut up. He's getting bashed and sliced. He's from an inch of his life. His boy Billy Russo wanted to kill him quick because of some arrangement they had while they were talking. But yeah, between brothers, it was kind of nice. Billy's not an unreasonable dude. He's just an asshole. And but Agent Orange wants him to suffer. I mean, he wants to humiliate him, then he wants him to die. So Billy and Agent Orange get into a verbal bitch out, and Billy gets behind Castle with a gun to his head, threatening to end his life quick and painless. Agent Orange isn't having it because he warns him one last time, get the fuck away from Castle. All right, I'm going to do this. He owes a debt to me. I got to get this done. And Billy has a gun at Castle's head, but at the same time, in his other hand, he has clippers. They look like wire cutters, I believe.
Yeah, they were wire cutters.
And behind Castle's back, he clips a plastic tie 3/4 of the way. And Castle realizes it because, his eyes move. So he knows what's going on, even though he's coming in and out of consciousness. So at this point, Billy takes a couple steps back. He's like, all right, you want to do your thing? Do your thing. I'm going to be over here. And Frank, he's closing his eyes. He's in a dream state, going to his happy place with his wife. And she's holding his hands and smiling at him, telling him to come with her. Let's go home. Let's come home, Frank. Metaphorically meaning that if he goes with her, then he dies. And so since Castle's struggling to stay awake, he looks like he's moments from death. He's not even talking back anymore. And Agent Orange has this needle, which looks like an EpiPen, but it's an adrenaline shot, which if anyone's seen that horrible movie Cranked, it gets you really jacked up and it makes your wiener hard. But
fucking ridiculous ass movie, but go on.
It's terrible. All four of them or all three of them. And so what he does is he puts it right into his leg, and then Frank wakes up. And Agent Orange, he thinks he's tied up, so he's doing whatever he can. So he's sitting there. He sits on his knee with a knife to his eye because Agent Orange has a false eye. Or he doesn't have a false eye. It just doesn't work because Frank fucked him up. And he gets really close. And then Agent Orange swings back. And Frank, he goes back to his wife one last time. And he tells her, I am home. Agent Orange goes for the stab. And he fucking grabs his hand. Or Frank Castle grabs his hand. And he headbutts him. And Agent Orange falls out. And then he just breaks out of all these ties because he's all fucking junked up now on the adrenaline. So he's up and he's all covered in blood. I mean, there's blood in his eyes, there's blood in his hair, and his clothes everywhere. He looks like fucking death. And with the boost of adrenaline, he looks like a monster. So Agent Orange gets up and he stabs this man in the stomach under his left arm. So it's like closer to the side. And he doesn't even flinch. He grabs Agent Orange by the throat and chokes him for a little bit and trips him. And when he's on the ground, Frank Castle takes the knife from his stomach, takes it out without even flinching, and mounts him like a like a full mount, if anyone watches UFC, just like laying on top of his stomach. And he fucking, you see Billy on the other side, which is cool on the glass. And Billy's looking at all this, and he reaches for a gun that's on the table in front of the glass, just in case, because he has nothing right now. So he has that gun just in case, and he's watching all of this. So with the knife, fucking Frank stabs him a good 20 or 25 times in his heart. Is it in his heart? Anyways, it's in his fucking body.
Might as well.
And it's rough, and he's doing it really fast. Like, the knife isn't even coming out, like he's fucking sawing him. And Billy's on the other side fucking, while he's going berserk. I thought he was going to, like, shoot him, but he was just sitting there watching him and letting it all go. And Frank looks at him, because you already know that there's no alliance here. He still wants him dead, or at least in prison. So after he stabs him, he fucking just starts hitting him. And the thing with these hits, which, you know, Daredevil and Daredevil 2, what they really do well in this is just these fights and these little things. So whenever he's hitting them, the first couple hits, you can hear it. But then when he really goes with the right hand, the camera shakes just a little bit on impact, and the thumps get like deeper. So you know those are the killing blows. And Agent Orange is fucking knocked out. But what Frank does is he takes his face, and Agent Orange is gargling on his own blood. He takes his thumbs and puts them in both his eyes, and he's just pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing until they sink through. And like, I assume they go to his brain. I'm not a doctor, but that was by far the coolest thing. Just how he stood up and he was all fucking the Punisher, you know, the fucking dude that can kill people with his bare hands or with a spoon.
And Steven's right. That shit was dope as fuck. But Frank is not completely a terrible guy. And considering that we're almost out of time, this is just one very short scene that I wanted to mention that kind of reflects that he, you know, is a good guy. I forget where it's at in the series. I want to say it's about a midway point. But Frank is talking to, I think it was Micro. And he's telling the story of, a time where he came home and, his wife had told him that his son was acting up and, had like vandalized something in the house. So Frank's, mad as fuck. He storms in. He looks at the wall. There's a giant Marine painted on the wall. And, he's so fucking pissed. He grabs his son. He drags him outside of the yard, throws him on the ground, gets in his face and, was about to, probably beat him. I don't know, man. Like, he was about to tear his son's ass up. And he said his son stared at him with like the coldest, most stern face, looked like a little man. And he said, "Daddy, I only did it because Marines scare off bad guys, Daddy." He said, "When you're not home, it's my job to protect our girls," referring to his mother and his sister. And like, Frank was like, I couldn't even be mad.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
Yeah, I don't know. That scene kind of got me. That was probably one of the most like emotional things that he said, but I don't know. I mean, he's, he has humanistic traits. I think that was one of them, probably a more aggressive one, but that's still for,
It was pretty good. Last thing I'll say, the series did a very good job, for Frank Castle, up and down. Frank Castle as a Punisher, Frank Castle as a person. It did a very good job, letting you get connected with this character and knowing who he actually is. The only thing I didn't like is Lewis Wilson. Thought he was trash. Unfortunately, he was a big part of the show, but he's not a deal breaker. This is still my second favorite behind Daredevil, season 2 specifically. But I loved it. Anyone else is going to get what they want out of it, Tino?
I mean, I'll agree. Like the Lewis part, I like the Lewis part. I just think that it would have been cool if they ended it sooner. It was dragged on a little bit too long, and I think Frank should have ended him versus the way that it ended, because I agree
100%. That's my problem. If they would have done that, this would have been better than Daredevil.
Him or Curtis, the black dude, if he would have got like his little justice, and kind of got him back, I would have been equally as happy.
Of course, I would have settled.
But either way, I mean, whatever. It's said and done. It happened. I mean, you're gonna like it or you won't. Like I said, I'm on the fence. Steven hated it, but aside from that, it's pretty fucking good. So,
all right, that's it for us. That website again is bodysnatcherspodcast.com. Sign up for that newsletter for upcoming shows and sales on merch. We'll see. And that's coming. That might be coming pretty soon. So you got to take a look out. Anything that happens, you'll be the first to know if you sign up for that newsletter. So don't fuck around. So for Gia, John, Tino, and Steve, tell someone you love them. Take care.
Later.